All right, we live in this bitch. Whew. All right. So Master D does not have video today, so he not gonna show on the stream. The only 3 videos that will show on stream are gonna be us. Let me practice real quick and set some things up. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Anybody got any questions before we get started?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Excited.
Ron, we back.
I am back.
You
And
video it? Doing the
find a
video?
place to put on. Yeah, I'm trying to work on my shadows. But yeah, I'm here.
Work on my shadows. Alright, let's get this shit started. Get my. I just want to tweet to all the supernovas that we on here, just in case they don't know. Boom. That don't really do nothing. All right. This is Captain's Log number 900, and we are out here doing big things. So in the last episode, we talked about the power of what makes a hero, and before that, we talked about Netflix. And so in both of those conversations, we really got into what captivates us within a story and what captivates us about characters. And with Netflix, we got into what's important to us when it comes to like the technicalities and what we expect from the products that we consume. So for this episode, we paired up with another Captain of the Seas. We have a special guest from the 3-episode rule podcast, which you may remember I was a featured guest on that before. We did Megalobox, but we have a special guest from the 3-episode rule podcast, and today we will be talking about what captivates us, what hooks us into an Animanga series. So this is really important, especially when you think about like the 3-episode rule. When you're watching or reading, if you're watching an anime or let's say you're reading a manga, how long do you go before you just say, I'm over it, I don't want to, consume this series anymore? And what exactly are you looking for? So we hope to get into all that and more in today's episode. Without further ado, let's get into this shit. Yo, what's up, Supernovas, and welcome back to the Worst Generation Podcast, the exploratory anime and manga podcast. I'm your host, GB, and as y'all already know from the Captain's Log, we coming to y'all today with an episode that's going to be special because we got a guest on it as always, but it's going to be special because we fucking doing it. First up, as always, let me introduce the crew. First up on the pod tonight, we have Cuzzo in one of his famous Scullys. I think this is going to be his new look. I don't even know if they famous yet because you're not even doing them all the time. It's our first look at the new Scully Cuzzo. So introducing for the first time Scully Cuzzo, that boy Frankie.
Yo, 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 what's good, Supernovas? Get your shit up. It's time for that Season 3 slander. It's the Superman of Metropolis, the Batman of Gotham, the man who told the Grinch there will be no Christmas. It's me, that boy, Frankie, hitting y'all with that super, and as always, rapping for the casual anime fan. What's good, pod?
Scully Gang, Scully Gang. And
Scully's here to stay.
for the second streaming pod in a row, we have the other boy, Master D, who's donning is it salmon or is it red? What was the color we decided on last time for the durag?
It's definitely gonna be salmon.
The salmon color durag, very, very, very lavish, very expensive. Not velvet, but silky.
Only the best.
Only the best, the finest twigs and berries for Master D's
Finest.
hair. I give you all Master D.
Yo, what's going on, Supernovas? It's me again, Master D, aka Pandemic D, aka Mr. I painted the walls and Plan B didn't work out, but it's always a Plan D, aka Drax the Destroyer, aka Kororo the Forgotten One, aka Mr. Clear My Throat. Hello, West Richard Hotline. This is Master D speaking. How may I help you? Back again with another illustrious guest. Back again with another illustrious pod. Ready to talk some shit. I have something I want to say too, but I'll wait till later on.
Lustrous. I like that word.
Illustrious.
I'm fucking with it. And last but certainly not least on the podcast today, as I already told you all, Supernovas, we have a special guest with us. For the first time on the Worst Generation podcast, we have the host, producer, and mind behind the 3-episode rule podcast, my boy Jeremiah.
Yo, what's up? What's up? First off, that's a epic intro. I appreciate that. Super excited to be here. You know, GB came on the 3-episode rule a few months ago now. Talked Megalobox, and it was a great time. So, you know, I'm happy to be here and excited to, you know, team up with you guys and kind of go get the rundown from the Worst Gen pod. Yeah, gonna be a good time.
Had a great time watching Megalobox, and I'll probably reference some parts of Megalobox during this episode because it definitely locked me in those first 3 episodes, and I actually wanted to binge it before the podcast, but I couldn't binge the shit because we was only supposed to watch 3 episodes and come and talk about it from the perspective of the first 3 episodes on the pod. So I had to spend like a week just like itching before I could go finish the series. And y'all know how it be when it's a series is really good and you don't want to do nothing but finish that series, and like every waking moment, no matter what else you're doing, you're kind of thinking about it like, man, I'm just trying to go read that next chapter. I'm trying to go watch that next episode. I ain't trying to do nothing that you're talking about right now. Clock in for what?
No, you mean I appreciate you having the willpower to kind of wait that out. I know it is hard.
That shit.
You know, and I mean that tells me I'm doing the right thing. You know, having at least an idea that can have you anticipating the 4th episode if it's a show that you like. So I'm here for it.
Definitely. Before we start moving into the actual episode and further conversations, I want to get through some housekeeping things. So first up on the list of my housekeeping items is I want to talk to you guys about the Worst Generation podcast website and our Patreon. So first up, definitely check out our website. You guys can go to www.worstgenerationpodcast.com and check out all things about the pod. You can find all our links there. You can subscribe to our RSS feed direct. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google, our Twitter, our Spotify. Everything is there. You can also check out things about the crew. All the crew members have bios up. We have some of our favorite episodes. We've done our best podding of podding. You'll find out what our top 3 are, what series that we like, favorite characters, and the character we feel from the Worst Gen pod. We have merch on the website, so definitely go and check out our merch. Check out the carry-alls, the merch, as the secretary calls them, shirts, hoodies, everything like that. And then last but not least, you can support us through the website or straight at our Patreon. You can activate any of the tiers. We have a $2 tier, a $5 tier, and a $10 tier. If you happen to be a fan of, you know, our bonus content or any of the Anime After Darks, you want to be sure to subscribe to our Patreon and be a part of that. Anime After Dark is something that we do every weekend, every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. CST, and it's always a good time. And once those episodes are done, because they're live, they're gone unless you actually subscribe to the Patreon. But good luck at even at the bottom tier of our Patreon, the $2 tier, you can have access to all of our Anime After Dark episodes that we do in collaboration with Blename Podcast. Second housekeeping item is shout out to all of our Worst Gen Alliance members, and those are members of the Patreon who subscribe to our $10 tier or above. First up, we got MJ3, my boy Malcolm from Anime After Dark. We got Sensei from Sensei Gaming, a very good YouTuber. If you guys aren't checking him out on YouTube, definitely go check out his YouTube. We got Ked from Chaotic Culture Podcast. Sorry about that, Ked. I fucked that all up. Ked from Chaotic Culture Podcast. Good podcast. He's actually a brother in the bond with me, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and Newt reviews a lot of different albums and discography, so definitely go check out his pod. And last of those members is Sensei LeGlove, our very own YouTuber and podcaster who's not with us here tonight, but if you've heard him once, you will never forget his voice. So definitely go check out Sensei LeGlove's YouTube and everything like that. And that's pretty much all I really got. I do want to tell you guys, since we're now doing these videos and these live streams, you will start seeing some videos on our YouTube coming soon as I get my video editing bag in play. So just be on the lookout for that. And that's all I got for housekeeping. So I'm getting rid of that shit. All right, let's do this episode. First thing up that I want to talk about is a new segment that was recommended to me by Call Me Leak. And he would like us to start doing this on the pod. I thought it was a great idea. So we're going to start doing our moment of the week. We are all fans, and we're reading comics, we're reading manga, we're watching anime, we're watching TV shows. So for everybody that's up here right now, I want you guys to tell me what you've been reading and watching and what was your favorite moment of the week. It can be from anything. Let's start off with you, Jeremiah, since you're our esteemed guest.
Oh, bet. I've been waiting on this part. So I kind of said on Twitter earlier today, I'm going to push the Ranking of Kings agenda real heavy.
Okay.
So that's like my number one show this season, off top. My dude Boji is amazing. So off top, watching that. There was a scene this week. It's almost a spoiler, but there's a scene this week where my man's told his partner in crime that he's going to get stronger, and he tries to lift up a rock that anyone could lift, basically any normal child person, and he's struggling, and it's just like tears in his eyes as he's trying his hardest. I'm like, yeah, this is the moment. For every episode has a moment like that, but this is the moment for me this week from Ranking of Kings.
It was a tearjerker.
What do you say?
It was a tearjerker.
Oh man, it really was. It really. I mean, I leaned in like, what did you say? No, I really did. No, yeah, that was a tearjerker. Every episode has either a cliffhanger type situation, or one of those scenarios that really pull the feels. Sure. And then that's on the anime side. On the manga side, I don't know if you guys watched that show, Aroma, that came out. I think it had a season last season, like Aruma-kun or whatever. Demon King Aruma-kun.
Yeah,
about this dude.
I've heard of it. Someone mentioned it on Anime After Dark.
Yeah, so it's almost slice of life-ish in a way, but with some shonen elements thrown in every 10 episodes or 10 chapters or so. So I'm reading that pretty regularly every week. And, this week they had a cool scene where, Aruma actually starts, getting to another one of his battles. And usually those situations are kind of that's some of the highlights of the manga for me. So I'm like, yeah, I'm hyped for it. Hyped for seeing how this is going to play out over the next few chapters.
That's what's up. For the people at home, before we move on to Master D next, just give us a little quick synopsis of what Ranking of Kings is.
Wow. Okay. How can I describe Ranking of Kings? Okay, Ranking of Kings is a show that based off the art style, you would assume it's going to be for kids. That you assume it's going to be, um, kind of like cute and cuddly in a way, right? But maybe halfway through the first episode, you kind of get that sense that it's really going to be actually pretty dark, pretty engaging in that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with Ranking of Kings, it's this boy Boji. Um, he's the first in line to be the next king of his country. His father is was one of the strongest warriors to ever exist. Um, he's on his deathbed in the first few episodes, and of course, after in situations like this, similar like a Game of Thrones or any other type of show where there's multiple princes or multiple people in line for the throne, there's a power struggle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Boji, who's our main protagonist, gets pretty much cheated out of the throne after his father passes away, and it kind of leads down this rabbit hole of him trying to kind of reclaim the throne while also having zero ability as far as strength goes in the terms of this world. So yeah, it's really could be one of those rides where you're gonna watch him overcome every obstacle when he has zero ability, and that's usually the type of protagonist that I tend to kind of lean towards. Like Natsuki Subaru. He has very little power or ability, but I can lean towards him because you want to see how he's going to overcome the next obstacle, regardless of that fact. So
I could fuck with that.
Yeah.
I definitely gotta check it out at some point. I've seen Black on the timeline, and I've seen Rob from Dad Needs to Talk podcast. He's talked about it a lot on the timeline, especially Boji. And so I've been meaning to kind of like read up on what it was about and get into the title, but I haven't been picking up that much anime as of late. And I got a whole list of things I'm supposed to be watching. On
I think you said that when you're on my pod, you had a list. You always have a list.
Look, man,
list
this content creator life is never ending. And feel like every time you think
This never ends.
kind of catching up with some things on your list, because you got titles that you watching because like they more what you want to watch right now, and then you got stuff you watching because it's popular and you need to have conversations with the fans and everybody that's out there, and then you got stuff that you watching because low key you want to just test out some new things here and there and see what else you like out there. And so it feels like no matter how hard I go, when I think I'm making a dent in the list, I look at the list and it's bigger, it's ever expanding.
Why do I feel like you have a literal list, a real list?
I do, bro. I have a notes app with just list of shows and everything I'm watching, and then when I'm watching a show, I've had to get to the point now where I have to make another note for that show and put my notes for that show inside the app, because if I don't, I got too many anime and manga that's running together, and I can't even keep all my points straight that I'm thinking from that week. So it's really getting out of hand, but I'm finding ways to be more organized. The number one thing I need, because everyone knows that I butcher all characters' names, I probably need a way to better remember names and better pronounce the names going forward. That's been super hard for me, but I'm known to butcher a name, and that's in real life and that's in anime. I forget names all the time. I don't really forget faces, but I forget and fuck up names all the time. I don't know what it is.
There's just so many.
I think that Master D dropped off because I don't see him on video. Are you still there, Ron?
I'm still here, yeah.
All right, bet. Go ahead and give me your moment of the week.
My moment of the week comes from Spy Family, because I've been reading this manga GB recommended to me. It's filled with other people in the community, and I've been enjoying this read. Yeah, it's been really fun. I can't even lie. I'm enjoying watching this family grow and just develop in their little quirky ways, trying to become the best fake family that they can just to save the free world. But my moment of the week comes from this one main character, and it's Anya. It's Anya, the child Anya. I think it's Anya or Anya.
Anya.
Yeah, Anya. There was this scene when I think it was I can't remember what chapter it was in, but they were in the first, not even the first day of school, but they were having prelims, talking about going to school, doing the tours and all the stuff. And I guess Anya encounters this little bully, this little rich kid who's supposed to be the Mark's son, that they're trying to accomplish. The goal is trying to get to this child, get closer with the family. So Lord, the main character, father of Anya, he now sees the marks. Oh, that's the son. I would love for Anya to become best friends with this kid. We could told that they can go play dates, so they can get into the house. Get close to the family. But this little kid's a little bastard because he's a little dick, and he's going around picking on little kids now. And he sees Anya, and I don't know if at first he was like love struck by Anya, or if he just like wasn't sure what to experience because he was just looking at her, staring at her back and forth. And those little kids when they like a girl, they don't know how to react, so they do something crazy. So he said some foul word, and he just kept picking at her, kept egging her on, kept egging her on. And Anya now, she, so, so, but so she's been learning learn how to fight from her mom, who's an assassin. So she's been learning like a few skills. So the kid's been picking on her. She's been keeping her cool, just smile it off, like I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm not gonna do nothing until the moment of chance when she finally gets a chance. She looks, and it's fun because I love the way the panel worked. She looks at the teacher, sees them going around the corner. She does a little smile, like, comes back around, and all you see is just a nice wide page double spread panel of her clocking this little kid across the room. And that shit had me laughing so much in tears. I was dying because I didn't expect it to happen. It was just like, wait a minute, this little child, like she's so sweet and innocent, but she just clocked the little kid, and you see the twist into the fist, the power that went into it, and
Yeah.
this kid flew. This kid flew, and it was that moment I realized this series is gonna be really fun and enjoyable. Because I didn't expect that to come out of that character. Like she was always like the characters like the as GB called it the 4D character because she's a part of the manga as well. She's a part of the real world, so she's like giving her thoughts. But I didn't see that come from Anya, and that really bumped up a little bit in my book into my favorite characters in the series, and it's got me a bit excited to read more and see what else can happen. That was my favorite, I guess, hype moment of the week from that series. I've also been watching the Scissor 7, and I'm now an official Scissor 7 stan account called that show. It's something about it's just simple but perfection at its simplest
I'm so
because
proud of
it's
you.
the art style. The art style is so soft and calming. I was thinking about it like this is like the lo-fi of anime because this anime because the music on top of it's on par. It's the fire. There's like original soundtrack. I was listening to it earlier. Then the animation is so quirky and like it gives you so many different characters, so many different things that can't keep up, but it all like encapsulates this entire story around the main character of him losing his memory and then trying to figure out who he is and then creating this whole new life in this persona after he lost his memory. But like the different characters that are around him, they're so unique and so quirky that they make the series so unique. And as we're trying to retell the story and trying to figure out like who he was and where he came from, you learn about all the characters and how they all play a part in this world and how they all play a part into him being who he is now, currently. But this last season really was just beautiful. I gotta say the art style was fire. Like the different animation they use in certain fight scenes, the music, it was great. So, Scissor 7 definitely is the must watch on Netflix right now. Four
Def-
seasons, quick binge.
Definitely,
Yeah,
Scissor Seven definitely is a great like lo-fi style anime. I actually like the way you described that because it's like for it to be an action anime and for it to be goofy, it's so peaceful.
yeah,
Like it's peaceful. It's just peaceful to
so
watch,
peaceful.
and you just enjoy like cruising through it. So like I like that comparison.
Yeah,
And definitely shout out to Anya. She is my 4D best girl from Spy Family. Actually, my moment of the week comes from Spy Family too. So when it gets to my turn, then I get to bring Spy Family back up. But we gonna move on to you, Cuzzo.
Yeah. So moment of the week for me is definitely episode 1,000 of One Piece. Um, the episode
Let's
in and of
go.
itself
I wish I had
was like
gunshots
not
like
like
Mike. I need the damn.
it's not like it was like one of the best episodes, but it's episode 1,000 of One Piece, nigga. Like that's a milestone in and of itself. Also, I did the math right quick. It should be spot on. Of my 30 years of life, I've officially dedicated 1 year of it to One Piece, just in watching the anime. The way the math works out, it's about 366 days or whatever. I think that's incredible. I'm happy I did it. I have no regrets.
No
10 out of 10
regrets.
would do it again.
One Piece is the goal.
One Piece is the GOAT, man. It was a great fucking week for One Piece fans. We had an excellent chapter. We got the debut of Red. We got the 1,000 episode. And admittedly, I still have not watched the 1,000 episode. I want to be able to dedicate actual time to it. And the only time that I was given these past couple days to watch the episode, I was gonna have to share it with the secretary next to me, and I wanted to be 100% locked in and focused on the episode. I'm not trying to like split my attention across anything, so I decided to wait until we at the crib for Thanksgiving, and I think I'm just gonna find me some time to myself at some point and watch it then. And if not then I'm gonna have to just watch that shit on the air on the flight or something. I don't know, but I know I got to see it soon because I've just been seeing people rave about it on the timeline. G,
Oh no, I loved it.
You loved it?
Not cousin, but I
It
understand.
definitely took me like a couple of days. Yeah, I definitely feel it, GB. I want to wait until the right moment, till I had enough time to really dedicate to just focusing and paying attention to every detail in the animation, because I knew I was good. I knew I wanted to watch it on. I want to rewatch all the previous episodes first too. Before I even got to the 1,000 episodes, like the prequel. Okay, this was happening, and they did it great, man. It was so emotional just thinking about how far One Piece has come, how far I've come watching this anime and reading the manga, and how far I've come in this series. The emotional journeys I've had with each character. It definitely was like a nice, heartwarming scene just watching 1,000th episode and just thinking to myself, like, damn, this is the really greatest anime I've ever watched, and I'm amazed I could live to see 1,000th episode and enjoy it this far long. And I'm excited to see what else is going to come, because Oda seems to he's just heating up right now. He's just been on fire with the manga, and he's on fire.
One of the
He's heating up
episodes
right now. I can't wait.
one of the episodes on our episode list that we have for the pod that we got to get to one day is like the evolution of mangakas. And so I made this joke on Anime After Dark, and it didn't exactly go over well because Mike was there. But the joke I made was about Bleach being the weakest of the big three because they told Kubo to pack it up. And with Naruto,
it is.
It was a very, very strong story. Like, it flowed very well until it didn't. But that was at the end, Fourth Grade Ninja War, and it's probably like, yo, this story's so good, we can get more money off of it if we extend it in this way. But One Piece, Oda's never hit a point where he's overly redundant. The arcs have structure and they have similarity, but it's not redundant. Like, we still have twists, we still have turns, it's still fresh, like, people are still engaged. And Oda's writing has actually evolved over the years, and even when you look back on some of his stuff, he was still progressive in his writing, like the use of characters. And even now, I was on one Clubhouse space where they were talking about LGBT representation in stories and stuff, and people was like, even years ago, Oda was already representing characters in his stories, and that's amazing. Because of course, agenda, people focus on Wano. Whole islands, bro. Because of agendas, people focus on Wano and act like it's something new that Oda's doing, but he's been doing this for years. So
Von Clay, Ivankov.
It's crazy to see that, and I want to like give Oda praise for the fact that one of the things I think makes him so special is that he does travel, he does take in new experiences, he does do things outside of just the manga. He does keep a very busy schedule with the manga, but he takes in new experiences, and I definitely think that helps him in his writing and comes to play in his art form, especially when you're writing an adventure manga about pirates, bro. You definitely got to be out here experiencing shit in the world, else it'll get stale quick. So it's always good shit, Oda. I could get stuck praising him forever, but we gotta move on because I'm trying to make time today and get Rome semi out of here. So for me, my manga moment.
How you go, bro? I'm off tonight. I got
off
time.
tonight?
Really?
Oh, we finna take our time,
This
bro.
man Rome never off, bro.
Yeah.
Rome will never be off. Rome getting dressed right now
it's
doing me talking about in and out of mute. All right,
Nah, bro.
cool. Well, no rushes. For me, my manga moment of the
But wait,
week.
real quick though, is there a lag for me? Sorry.
Your audio comes in, bro. You just don't have any video up, so it's just the three of us that show on video on the stream right now.
Okay, so it's probably just me watching your lips and code. It seems like I have a lag, but all right.
That might be on your end, but well, I can't tell if you have a lag or not because I don't see your video. But yeah, we good, bro. For me, my manga moment, well, my moment of the week is going to be a manga, so I'm calling it my manga moment of the week. It also comes from the Manga Spy Family. I have been preaching Spy Family ever since we picked it up for Anime After Dark. It's been one of my favorite series that I'm reading on the Viz app. I love the comedy of it. I love the action in it. I love the suspense, everything. And each character gives you a little bit of their own. It's beautiful because they're a family, right? So in the beginning of this manga, so much of the comedy comes from Anya, and a lot of the suspense and the thriller aspects come from Lloyd, the father who's the spy, and a lot of the action comes from Vor, who's the assassin. But now we're starting to see those lines get blurred the deeper into the manga that we get. And so in this, as I'm catching up, because I just binge reading and caught up. As I'm catching up, we get to a place where Vor, the mother who's an assassin is normally action, she finds herself in this suspense situation, and for the first time ever, we get really, really deep into the layers of who she is and the layers of her thought. And she asks herself, "What are you doing here?" And so, without spoiling too much of the manga, it's a great point for her to be asking that question, because does she want to get out the assassin game and take her family serious? Is the family just a fake family that's still her cover? What's important to her and what should be important to her? And one of the things that they point out, because Vor is in essence going through Hell Week right now, she's fighting literally everyone on a cruise ship, and she's going through hell, like the ranks, to fight her way to the front. So as she does all that, it makes you think that, you know, it's kind of a gift and a curse that we have these fighting spirits as human beings. Like, it forces us to fight and want to grow and want to evolve and want to do better as people. But at the same time, it's so easy for us to get caught up in constant progression and our ambition and our need for more, that we forget that sometimes you hit a point where, me personally, I really don't want to go any farther. Like, I've already found my perfect point. And so at what point do I progress into greed when I'm trying to have too much at one time? And so for Vor to be asking these questions of herself right here, you're really starting to see the thinking and the introspection has been a focal point of her husband, fake husband, Lloyd, so long in the manga. It's starting to seep over into her character, and you're seeing the family start to blend. You're seeing their personalities influence each other. And that was just a really special moment for me to get that from the manga this week. I ended up reading that chapter twice because it was special. It was something different. And you even see that with Anya now. Like, Anya's always been presented as this innocent, kind of fumbling child, and she is very smart and intuitive, but long thinking has never really been her game, and you're starting to see that aspect become a part of her too. So we're seeing how the father is influencing them, and I can't wait until later chapters how we see how Vor and Anya influence the other members of their family. So that's my moment of the week. It was a great ass moment. If you aren't reading Spy Family, I say definitely go check it out. It's an easy read. It's a leisurely read. You don't have to be intense to like watch all the panels or like lock in and find Easter eggs in it. It's just real casual. It's a great story. So one of the strongest starts to a manga that I've read on Viz in a while, and is really holding up to its name. I think the only manga I've liked more from the start is Zom 100 on Viz currently. For anyone that's not reading Zom 100, I promote that one too. Zom 100 is about this overworked wage slave. And we all can fucking relate to that right now, in general, in the pandemic and for our whole generation. But he's overworked, he's a wage slave, he's been getting pimped out by his boss, and the zombie apocalypse happens. And so basically most people die off, and now he's one of the survivors in the zombie apocalypse. And where everyone's walking around like terrified for their life and being scared, he's in fucking heaven because he doesn't have to go to work. And so he's happy as hell. He riding his bike.
Hey,
Bro is riding his bike through the neighborhood.
like
I mean,
me.
it's zombies and death everywhere. He's just like, I wonder what I'm going to do today, G. I've been wanting to go to the park for a while. Like, I think I'm going to go to the park and relax.
okay.
Like,
So the
he's
movies
chilling.
and chill, watch it.
He's chilling, bro, in the zombie apocalypse. Everybody else is freaking out. He's stopping past neighbors' cribs like, do you want me to go to the store and pick you up some food? Do you need anything? I was running out, but, you know, if you need me to stop, I'll stop for you. People looking at him like, and he's just looking like, bro, compared to me working that soul-sucking job and not sleeping, like his apartment was a mess. He cleaned his apartment for the first time in 4 years. Like, he
I
wasn't...
couldn't imagine.
Wow.
I couldn't imagine.
Just to put it in context, man's first day on the job, he got to the job, they worked the 9 to 5, right? They go out for beers after work, they drink the beers, and he's like, all right, he's getting ready to say like, all right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. And everyone gets up and walks back to the office, and he like, what the fuck is going on? They end up working an all-nighter, bro. His first day on the job is like a 30-something hour shift.
Nah.
And that becomes
I'm out.
Damn, that's
that becomes the rest of his life for the next 3 or 4 years, bro. So this zombie
I'm
apocalypse
out, bro.
hits, and bro is like, oh, for the first time in my life, you know, I ain't got shit to do. I'm finna relax. So he chilling, man. I really like that
Big
manga,
show.
man. It's good, man. It's good. And if you feel any type of way, like during the pandemic, it's really like reminiscent of when COVID first hit, and like jobs was closed and all the streets was empty, and you just saw people just relaxing for the first time in so long. I love that manga. So that and Spy Family probably been my favorite leisure reads on Viz right now. But yeah, that's my moment of the week. It's Spy Family. Vor, what do you want? Moving on, we got Supernova no Chato. So I am going to share. I have 2 tweets that I'm gonna share. One of them because I want to know your take, because Thanksgiving is this week, and I want to know how you fellas feel about food. So,
I'm excited, bro.
tweet number 1 is from our homegirl, one of our patrons. Shout out to Moody Senpai. But Moody Senpai tweeted, it's looking a lot like Thanksgiving, and she had a picture of pork chitterlings for the tweet.
Nah.
And so
Sir.
Moody,
Yes, sir.
Moody
I'm
getting a
scared.
lot of hate. Moody getting a lot of hate for that tweet. And me personally, I hate chitterlings with a passion. G. I
Same.
don't want to smell them.
Fire.
I don't want to get near.
Nah.
Cuzzo,
Fire.
we from the same family, G.
Wait.
On the paternal side, yeah. Paternal side, yeah. But mama's side from Mississippi, bro. Come on.
Bro, my mama sat from Mississippi,
Can
and
I
my
just
grandma
know-
used to cook them, bro. Just the smell of them is like, ugh. Why you doing
Don't
that?
be
Like,
in the house when they made, bro. You just eat them. Don't be in the house
Bro.
when they made. You just eat them.
we not slaves no more. We don't have to eat like this, G.
Big. No pig feed. None
Fire.
of that. I'm sorry.
Bro,
Fire.
like, bro, we went to a
Wait,
dinner. We went to
Can I just
dinner one
ask, what
time.
are-
They had
what are
chitlins,
chitlins?
pig
You don't wanna
intestines,
know.
bro.
We probably really don't want to know, Rom. You probably really don't want to know, but it's good.
You really don't want to know, but like
This
I'm gonna
is
tell
like-
you anyway. It's pig intestines,
I want to know, yeah.
and they
Oh.
cook them
It's
up.
pig intestine, Rom.
And no matter what you say, it's always some chitlin eating motherfucker that's like, oh, you just don't know how to clean
Wait,
them right.
wait.
Oh, your grandma just don't know how to cook. Oh, you ain't enjoying them right. You gotta
You
have
ain't
them with,
enjoying them right.
bro. I
I
don't
ain't
want
gonna
to
say
hear it.
that,
Sorry.
but that's
I,
fine.
I don't want
Pig
to hear it.
intestines, like,
Yes, bro. Have
Yes.
you ever
like
had,
my brain is going to
They,
place.
they
I'm thinking,
killed the
like,
pig,
what
made
do
bacon,
pig eat?
made pork shoulder, made ham, made pig feet, and made chitlins.
I'm thinking about what do pigs eat and how does that go through the digestive system, and why are we eating their digestive system when it's so freaking filthy to diet?
You clean it out, bro. It's delicious.
So,
how do
who
you
was the
clean
first person that said, "Let me eat this"?
slaves, bro? They broke down a
Yeah,
pig and
that's
took
what
all
it
the
was.
usable
Bro.
parts.
It was
They
a
took-
delicacy. It's
They
just
took
fire.
all the usable parts, bro, and it was like, well, what
And
can
you
we
know-
take
you
from
know,
this?
I c-
We can take intestines. It's a lot of this shit. But the thing about pigs is, bro, their digestive system is unlike anything that we have. They can literally eat damn near anything and not have a problem, bro. Their digestive system will break it down. Imagine what the fuck you're putting in your flimsy ass digestive system when you take in chitlins, G. That cannot be good with
Bro,
you. That's
you
why.
eating the
That's
pig
why.
intestine?
That's why our families be riddled with disease
Fire.
and shit. Cause we eating
Hey, Moody
chitlins.
Senpai, I stand with you.
Booty senpai, I stand with you. G.
And you know, I wanna stand with her because
Chitlins is not a Thanksgiving food for our house. I just have them like during the cookout in the summertime. I will say that.
In the
You
in
get
the
them in the
heat.
summertime. That's a summertime.
In
That's
the
a summer
heat?
food?
what?
That's when I had them. Yeah,
You eat
it was in the
naturally?
summertime.
Bro, I feel like I don't even know this man, bro. I be
Y'all
calling
taking
him
it to a
Cuzzo.
whole nother level when the
I've
summer
been calling him
chitlins.
Cuzzo, but it's the summer chitlins, bro.
I'm trying not to say
Fire,
nothing
bro.
because I can't
We
say
have the
much because
catfish,
I'm
the
from
spaghetti.
Jamaica.
And chitlins.
Catfish and spaghetti, I'm
Random
always
combination.
catfish and spaghetti. I'ma always stand by, and Stan has a proud
Yeah.
Midwesterner and Chicagoan.
Yes.
You
It's a
will
meal.
never. Right, you will never hear me hate on catfish and spaghetti. I asked the secretary to make that for me as a meal, bro.
With
When it
a
comes to
salad on the
chitlins-
side if you want to be fancy with it.
Yes, bro. If I need
Like,
some nutrients, you feel me? But chitlins, bro, in the summer heat at a cookout, bro. You at the park in the sun, letting the I got sick.
So how do you cook it now, Frankie? Do you deep fry it or do you boil it?
Boil them.
I've had them fried and boiled, but I don't know.
chitlins?
I don't cook them. I just eat them.
Fried?
I eat them raw. I don't cook them. I'm not
Dude,
around when
Did
they're
you
made.
did you know what they were your first time eating them? Going in? Or were you like
Nah.
tricked into it?
Nah,
Just like, yo, what is this? Mom's like, it's chitlins. You want some? I was like, yeah. I ate it. I was like, all right, cool. And then later on in life, I was like, oh, that's what it is?
So,
All right,
is it
still
like
good.
An acquired taste? So it's like an acquired taste,
I
like
think
beer.
more so. I think more so what it is, Rum, is that people know what it is, and that turns them off. If they didn't know what it was and they had it, they might say it tastes good, and then when they found out what it was, they'd be instantly turned off. I think that's the fairest assessment you can have.
Bro,
I
I've
can't
only
say
had
much.
I've only had chitlins twice in my life, and I hated it both times. I had it as a kid. It was absolutely disgusting to me. I didn't like the texture. I didn't like the flavor. I didn't like no parts of it. And then I also had it as an adult when I was studying to join Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I had chitlins then, and I ain't like
chitlins, bro.
Damn.
And if I ain't like chitlins after pulling an all night study session, bro, ain't nothing finna make me like chitlins, my G.
Hey, it did you bug as hell, bro.
That's wild, bro.
Bro, if I didn't like the chitlins then, because it was almost like after you've been up studying all night, it's damn near any food you could eat, and it don't matter. Like you just hungry, you just want to eat something. But chitlins was still.
Why were chitlins available?
You said what?
So why were they even available as an
Because
option
it was Christmas time, and somebody had brought chitlins back from from like a family event. Somebody brought chitlins back to
leftover
school.
chitlins,
Bro. And the brother had the chitlins. The brother had the chitlins in one of them old plastic ice cream containers with the red handle on it, and he came in swinging it like this, and came in with the
some hot
chitlins,
sauce, boy.
bro. And had some Louisiana hot sauce and splashed all the hot sauce in there, bro, and set the chitlins in front of me, and was like, "Yeah, man, I got these. If you hungry," and I was like, I was on the verge of like, I'm not really that hungry, but. In some cultures, it's rude to say you're not hungry. Like, people take offense when you say you don't want the food. You can't really turn down food. So now,
Nah, but you was actually hungry, though. Took a big-ass bite and was like, man, this shit good. It's like, the back and drink, yeah, shit good.
No, bro. I said, good, but it wasn't good, G. It was not good. And then I had to tell him about himself too, cause like, bro, you willingly eating these chitlins. Like, you brought these back to school with you. You brought these chitlins to school with you, bro. You live in a dorm. You live in a dorm room, G. That smell encapsulates your whole dorm room, like it seeps into your blanket and everything. You really like chitlins. I'm upset.
And I can't be mad because as a Jamaican, I eat a lot of strange foods too. Like, our diet consists of a lot of, like, those type of meals, like cow foot, chicken foot, cow tongue and shit like that. So I'm not trying to say much, but that just sounds good. Like, intestines is where I draw the line, man. Like, that's the whole digestive tract, bro.
Moody, you got one
hot sauce, bro.
Moody, you got one supporter on the pod right now. You might have more from the reserves. I don't know.
Moody, I stand with you in solidarity. Don't let these niggas
Panda the Don might get on this
down.
bitch and say down south, you can't be a down south person unless you eating chitlins, and she might 100% ride with you. I don't know. But when it comes to me and mine, chitlins is not in our ministry. It will not be near my household. I don't need it. If you show up with chitlins, I will send you home. I can't.
Oh, I won't show up with chitlins, bro. No, yeah. I'm not doing that.
You won't be there,
That's
bro.
Right.
You're not cleaning them?
No,
I'm not making them, bro. I'm not making them.
I'm not doing no parts.
It's like the macaroni and cheese at Thanksgiving. I'm not the person that cooks it because I know my lane's at, bro. I'm the food sampler. I'm not cooking food for the masses like that.
The food sampler.
All right.
Yeah, bro.
And then the second tweet for Supernova No Chato today is from Kugisaki Akeno. They are a follower of the pod. And they made a tweet that I thought was really interesting. So, the tweet goes, "It's way easier to emotionally engage a reader with traumatic and sad situations, and that's why I feel like some dark storylines and plots feel lazy to me. If a story can give me character development without extreme situations involved, I genuinely appreciate that. And I'm wondering how y'all feel about that. I think that that's a good tweet to kind of like really get our conversation flowing for today. Do you guys feel like it's easier to emotionally engage a reader with traumatic and sad situations? And if so, do you feel like dark storylines and plots feel kind of lazy?
I don't think they're lazy, but I do think it's easier because it's a bigger swing. So it's something more you have to digest, and you have to really put your time towards. You have to like kind of decipher it. But I don't think it's lazy because like it, maybe it means it's lazy in the sense that it doesn't take like guts to do it because it's the easier way out, let's say. But I don't think it's lazy writing because you still got to make a compelling storyline with this dark material. That's just not just dark for dark's sake.
I
Yeah.
feel
I definitely I feel that. Yeah, I don't think it's lazy writing at all because when you're going into the dark space, it takes a certain type of mindscape that you have to go into to even write a story to even make a reader even want to be engaged into like a darker theme, like like a berserk or like what's another dark anime? I'm trying to can't think of anyone, but like Berserk as an example though, you have to like have already like a dark theme, and then you have to get the reader to like engage in that. And I don't see that as lazy because it takes a lot to like write a darker theme anime or
Mm.
darker theme manga because it requires more out of you to to grab that user in. As like with a shonen, you're like, okay, you know what's gonna expect, and it's gonna be battle anime, or with a saying, it's gonna be something like a dark theme or like a shoujo. But like when it comes to like darker themes, it requires the as a mangaka to go into like a deeper space or realm or whatever, just to come out with like a story that's like
Mm.
compelling, while still like holding true to like the dialogue that you're trying to convey, like as a reader. I enjoy that because I don't mind the dark themes. I think that gives me like a not like a deeper connection to the anime or content I'm reading, but like a more like an emotional attachment to it. I would say it's like as I mean something like with a darker tone, I'm like, okay, this is kind of something that might not be familiar, but something like I would experience or like I understand or can relate to. And I think it's better storytelling, but not the best, but it's not lazy at all.
Um, s- I think it can be a little overused,
Yeah.
depending on I guess the context a little bit, right?
mm-hmm.
I can't think of the anime, but when I think of like dark tones, I tend to think of like sadder. Um, it could be like things that's not just sort of like scary or dramatic, just sad in general. But I think some mangaka or just original anime creators um, will kind of like use that. We'll just put a dark twist midway through in a series, one that may start off a little light or a little more fun or slice of life-ish. Will just like on episode 4 or 5 just somehow happen where the protagonist just like loses a best friend out of nowhere or something like that, or the protagonist's mother just randomly gets hit by a car, and I'm like, hmm, okay, thought this was going a little different, but sure, let's see how this rides out. Um, so I like when it's natural and it's not always, I guess, implemented well.
Even to that point, I think what the I don't remember his name. My bad, bro. What the tweet was about, like what he might mean is like if you can do it from a positive standpoint, that's like an insider's thing. Like for example, like if you're like really into the culture, you see stuff that the normal users don't see. And so if there's someone on that same wavelength with you, that same type of level, they appreciate that nuance with you. So maybe it's like if it's positive, um, that's like something that only people who are like so deep into it like that nuance level can appreciate. Whereas like the your average person like me, like I might not catch it. I mean, to that point, it's not really for me in that sense. It's for them. It'll still be a good story, but like if you catch it, oh, you really appreciate. Like for example, Tony Hawk now. I've been following him on Instagram and stuff. He does tricks, but he's doing like tricks for like the skater, if you will. Whereas like as a fan, what he's doing is not that flashy, But like from a technical aspect, a skater will be like, yo, that's so cool how we like did it that way. So maybe like what the positive standpoint is kind of like that.
I feel that. For me personally, I agree in the sense that it is easier to engage, especially I think for me as a black man and just the neighborhood I'm from and what I've experienced in my life. Sad and traumatic stories are more up my alley and something that I will be in tune with. Like I identify with one of these characters or a situation that they're going through, so it is much easier to engage me in that way. But inherently, I don't feel like it's lazy because if it's lazy, you will lose the engagement with you. Two series that I'm uh, into right now that I would use as examples are Tokyo Revengers, where Tokyo Revengers, in my opinion, has just lost the best character that they had in the entire series. And where we are now, it's still sad. There's still trauma going on. We're still having lots of deaths, but I'm not engaged. It feels lazy. The characters feel uninspired now. Things feel generic. And so, yeah, it's still sad. It's still traumatic, but you lost the engagement because the writing was lazy. The writing got lazy or feels lazy after that. Whereas another anime and Curse You, Polo, Tail, Moody, and who else put me on fucking 86? Ash. Ash from Black Anime Pods, and also Giant Shooty Robots podcast. He is a mecha extraordinaire savant. They put me on 86. And 86 is a very sad and traumatic story, similar to Iron Blood Orphans, if you've ever seen that. Like, it's sad like that. But the writing is not lazy at all. The pacing isn't lazy. The direction isn't lazy. Characters have a lot of care and time that went into them. The story is very, very, very engaging. And just when you think you understand like what's going on, another level gets added to it. And I like the cool twist that they put on the show. It's modern. It's modern both in the sense that it's very tech focused and kind of like has that what if tech went wrong feel that we always look at, like that futuristic war zone. But also it has like aspects of it has like a nod to zombies and things like that. So I really fuck with 86, and I don't think that the writing is lazy or boring, and so I don't find that to be a lazy take on sad and traumatic. So with back to the tweet, to the Supernova No Chato tweet, I do agree that it's easier to engage, but if the writing isn't lazy, it doesn't feel lazy to me. Just not because you engage me with something easy, because that might just be the story you want to tell. Who am I to be like you gotta write a happy, peaceful story if that's not in your heart? If you don't have the references to like write to that. Back to what we talked about with Oda early, like he writes from experience, and you can tell that. And you can also tell when a writer writes about things that they haven't experienced, or when someone's speaking on things that they don't really know. It doesn't pan over well for the audience. So I'm not up here to say that that's the easier route to take if you write a sad and traumatic story. But I do agree it's easy to engage the audience that way, just because of the topics. And we as human beings like fucking mess. We enjoy mess. We enjoy trauma.
Yeah, yeah.
It's our thing.
You said we enjoy mess.
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 Like messiness.
Oh, mess. Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah, bro.
gossiping,
I thought
what's
saying
the
you into a
tea,
mess, like
all that type of stuff. It's
Yeah, bro. Reality TV, all that good shit. Your girl be out there watching marathons, and you be sitting there like,
Real
why do
Housewives.
you be trying to
my
judge
girl
her like,
Bachelorette right now, bro.
right? You be trying to judge her like, why do you watch this shit? This shit's so dumb, and then look at you watching messy ass anime.
we all like hood ratchet shit. Yo, the messy anime be real messy, yo. That's why I love Jobless Reincarnation so much, because that is one messy ass anime if I've ever seen one, yo. First episode.
Yeah, man, he's
please
super
watch
messy,
it.
bro. I want to move
It's on the watch list.
what, Jobless Reincarnation?
Yeah, definitely.
It's on your watch list.
Yeah.
On my watch list, yeah.
Oh yeah, check it
100%.
out, bro. You a content creator. You got to get that list together, bro. I'm telling you, if you can't scroll it,
Yo.
if you only need one swipe to scroll it, your list ain't big enough.
Bro, I still have
That's
my
it.
100 anime challenge list not even touched yet. The anime list channel is just sitting there looking at me like, damn, bro, you gonna touch me soon? I'm like, eventually.
I gotta do stock. I think I might actually hit 100 by the end of the year. I wasn't really like tracking myself the whole time, but I think I'm probably gonna hit 100 by the end of the year if I haven't already passed it. Because last time I checked, I was at 60ish or 70ish in July, which to me was like the halfway point. And if I just keep up the pace I was going, I should be good. Yay or nay? So for all of our supernovas that listen to the podcast regularly, we know that we do yay or nay. This is the question that kind of gets us in the mindset just to see where our heads are at, and kind of sets like a nice little foundation for the last 30, 45 minutes of the conversation as we really get into the topic. So the yay or nay for today is yay or nay, can you accurately judge a series within the first 3 episodes? So I'm pretty sure Jeremiah is going to say yay because this is the whole premise of his podcast. I think
Definitely.
by default he has to say yay. So it's kind of a setup for you, but this is
He's
also
gonna
your
say
opportunity.
yeah. I might just say nay.
This is also your opportunity to pub the podcast and pub your thesis. But you know, do you feel like you have the ability to like judge an anime within the first 3 episodes? I'm really curious to know. And has anyone here ever fucked up and like judged an anime and then like going back, anime or manga or anything, a comic series, a TV show, anything, and going back to find out, yo, this shit was actually heat. It just had a really really slow start. But the yay or nay is can you judge in those first 3 episodes?
I want to go first. First, okay.
Of course, by all means.
What?
He's had practice though, like Come on.
Yeah, definitely. I go yay, of course. I think those first 3 episodes are crucial. I'll give you an example, right? So Inuyashiki, I watched the first 2 episodes. Was like, this isn't really it. Think it's one Mappa did that anime, so I'm like, okay. So, but the animation was a little different, from what they usually do. So first 2 episodes, I'm like, it's a little outside my wheelhouse. I might come back later, whatever. Maybe 6 months down the line, I was just bored and said, let me watch that 3rd episode. 3rd episode was fucking lit. So I almost regretted not. I almost would have regretted not giving it the full 3 episodes to really get into the show, because now it's definitely one that I recommend to a lot of people, to everyone. Like it's on my must watch list at this point.
Hit Me on the Ground is one of the best intros you've ever heard in your life if you haven't listened to it yet.
Okay, yeah.
if you haven't had a chance to listen to Hit Me on the Ground, like the intro is crunk. You're gonna be in the house. Hit me on the ground. Hit me on the ground. You said what?
No, so you said. So I know you seen it. Then that was.
I seen it.
Yashiki.
Shout out to Panda the Don first of all, because she gets producer credits for being the one that put me on Inuyashiki. You said, where do I rank it?
Yeah, is it good? Did you love it? Did you?
It's fucking great, man. It's a seinen, so seinen is like the category that probably captures my attention the most, and it has the stories that I like most want to sit with these days. It's a great ass anime. The first 2 episodes didn't feel slow to me like they did for you. They felt inquisitive, and he was asking the questions that I wanted him to ask. So I didn't really feel like the 2 episodes were slow. If anything, the only part about the first 2 episodes that the first 3 episodes, I'll say, that bothered me even a little bit was that if I had been in the same situation he is, rather than just asking questions, I'm also I have a personality of risk and just fuck it, I'm gonna go do it. So I probably would have already been out there just trying dumb shit just to see like what came from the events of my life faster than he would. But I can't be mad at him for that. I feel like that's accurate of an old man. Like what's the you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So like I feel like it's accurate that it would take him a little longer to want to try new things and learn new things. But when faced with the pressure, he definitely did not fold. He got in the zone and did the damn thing every time. So although I felt like he missed on some of the action early on, he asked the questions I wanted him to ask, and he was inquisitive like me. So I really didn't feel slowed down in the first 3 episodes. I was probably sold like midway through episode 2, because I think my comments to Panda after the first episode was like, it was decent. I'm gonna watch the second one, and then like midway through episode 2, I was like, yo, this shit might actually be heat. I'm gonna go ahead and binge this real quick. Don't even worry about me.
It took me a little longer. Yeah. I had to get to that 3rd episode to really get hooked on it, and maybe because I hadn't seen too many shows with like older main protagonists as well. So that was new to me, as kind of getting to that.
Are you into seinen?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I like things that are geared 100% towards adults from top, like Gantz and things along those lines. Okay. So yeah.
Because if you weren't into seinen, then I would say that could probably be an issue too. Because like, seinen definitely feels slow next to a shonen. Like, in a shonen, by episode 3, they've already declared I'm gonna be the president of the United States. Like, the goal.
Facts.
We headed. You pretty much know everything in the first 3 episodes. But in seinen, you trying to figure, like, by episode 3, you still trying to figure out who the good and the bad guy is. Like, where the fuck is this shit going? Am I on team evil? Or am I on team good?
Is there a seinen where you're on team evil? Is there any manga or anime where you're on team evil if they're not really the protagonist?
Yes. I'm on team gray and on team evil when it comes to Trigun. Even though Vash is my dude and I love him as a character, I more so identify with what Knives was spitting to me. Like, Knives was in his bag, and Wolfwood being in that gray area in between, I probably identify with Wolfwood the most, leaning towards Knives. And then, but I have Vash's personality, if that makes sense. So Vash's personality with Knives' brain, and kind of like maybe Wolfwood's drinking problem at the time. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That goes well together. And then other times I've been team evil. I'm team evil on One Piece quite often. Whatever team evil might be.
You mean you're on the Marine side?
Well, no, team evil.
Nah, like Kevin, like he was a Apu fan for a bit, man.
Yeah,
fuck that nigga.
Well, I was Apu fan. I was Apu fan to troll you niggas though. When I was team Apu.
Nah. Stay in your lane, bro. Stay your ground, you bitch.
Hell yeah, I forgot about that, bro. I definitely was team Apu to troll you niggas, but it turned into real shit, G. Because like, the more the more you get to like talk about something, the more you start to convince yourself. But then you start finding like real shit to support it. And so like at the time, everybody was down on Apu.
That's what got bailed out these chapters, man. With Apu.
Everybody was down on
still
Apu,
trash.
No, Apu fucking like it came full circle, Joe. This is definitely biting me in my ass and Wano. But like I'm definitely giving Apu still credit, G. I think that he's still underrated. I don't like that that everyone figured out his devil fruit so easy. That's bothering me because I just like everybody put that together so easy, and that shit's just like, come on, bro. But
you think if Drake, but Kid wouldn't have said anything. Not Kid. Kid wouldn't have said anything about Apu's powers. The Straw Hats would have figured it out.
Zoro figured it out, didn't he?
Zoro figured it out.
Nah.
Was it Zoro?
Yeah. Zoro saw Luffy get hit.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, and he covered his ears or whatever. He's like,
Killer told him to cover their ears. That was Killer that was like, yo, this guy's power. Yeah, that was Killer.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I might be misremembering, but Zoro and Luffy would have figured it out. Luffy figured everything out, bro.
Yeah, I think he would. I think he would.
Comes to fighting,
bro. Luffy would have figured it out. Like he would have did some shit. This Luffy we talking about. Luffy would have.
No,
it would have been some shit
Luffy,
like
but...
it'd have been some shit like Luffy had water in his ear at some point somehow, and was like, "Oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't get damaged." So Luffy,
Now you talking plot though.
we talking plot, bro.
But Luffy's an idiot savant when it comes to fighting. He would have figured it out.
He is, bro. Luffy is a freak of luck nature, and I don't get it sometimes.
He did get knocked out though. Zoro wasn't there at that moment. It could have been the end of the Wano arc.
So
right there.
I'm okay with people figuring it out. But it just felt like so many people put it together so quick. I still stand by Apu being stronger than we give him credit for, but Wano has definitely exposed a side of his personality that I didn't see at the time when I was like hyping this nigga Apu up and trolling them other niggas, and then when I really was like believing the Apu train, I didn't know his personality was gonna be what it is in Wano. Because his personality really turns me off, even though I really still like him as a devil fruit and I like what he could be. Like now I just like the potential of Apu. But that nigga, he been pretty bitch made, and I don't like that.
I was a big Hawkins fan at one point. That went sideways real quick.
I think Hawkins still cool.
I think Hawkins.
I think my main thing with One Piece is like they're all pirates. So the draw, since we're talking about what catches you about anime in this episode, they're all pirates, and so I'm not expecting anybody to be good all the time. And I don't have expectations for characters to like
Nope, not at all.
do certain things within the story. I just have expectations for them to be real niggas of character. And I know that squirrely individuals will still make it into the fold. I just didn't know that Apu was going to be one of those squirrely individuals. So now that part of his personality has been exposed, that's turned me off to him. But I still like his devil fruit. I still like the space that he occupies in the story, even if I don't like how he occupies that space. But as long as characters are real niggas in One Piece, like, I kind of fuck with it, because all One Piece really is all these dudes that have their will, and it's about who can insert their will for how the world could look at any given time. That's what Yonko territories are. That's what the pirates are doing as they go through. That's what Luffy does when he knocks out everybody in every city he goes to. Luffy is not inherently a good force just because he frees these lands. Like, who's to say, like, after he knocks out the president and dips, some other worse regime comes in after him, and Luffy can't protect him no more. And because Luffy knocked out the first bad guy, he's the cause of the second bad guy. Or somebody really liked Doffy being in charge of Dressrosa, and now they mad as hell at Luffy. Like, he the enemy. You came in and fucked my whole life up. So
yeah, but if you like what Doffy was doing, then I mean, you are inherently a bad person, though. Like,
if you a part of Dressrosa,
what you say?
I'm saying if you a part of Dressrosa, like, let's just look at real life. We had Trump, and people across the board say that Trump is a bad person, but there's people in the U.S. that like Trump. And if Luffy came through and knocked Trump out cold, and we got Biden after Trump, people ain't fucking with Luffy, bro. He not a hero. He a villain. Luffy is a terrorist to them. So, like, we got to remember that just because he going around knocking everybody out, and from our perspective as the viewer, we saying, like, oh, he liberated all those people. The hardest time for countries is after liberation, bro. Like, you ain't got no structure no more. You ain't got no government no more. And Luffy got 10 niggas on his crew. He can't provide for none of these people.
Hold on, but now I'm finna get you, though. The governments that he overthrowing or he's liberating, they still have their main kings. Dressrosa had King Riku. The Fishmen still had their main monarchy. They had Alabasta still had Vivi and the king there. So it's like he's not leaving these places in like bad situations.
Bro, what's stopping the
For
next
us,
Doffy?
we would have.
What's stopping the next Doffy from walking in behind them, bro?
Yep.
I mean, you gotta.
If you gonna claim these
I don't
places
think
under
Rico
your
and them
pressure,
gonna get ran up on again though. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen again.
bro, that nigga Croc sitting at the crib right now like them niggas soft.
Hey, man,
Tissue paper soft. I'm in that.
Oh yeah, Crocodile is out there just chilling.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, this is my one question for y'all: is Nail coming back ever?
Oh, yeah,
Good
sure.
fan service.
I would
But I don't see a reason to right now.
right
Unless they
now.
go to the moon.
He chilling.
Right now, I don't see a huge
They going.
reason for him to
They
come
going to
back,
the
but I
moon.
would like to see him back. Anel had features of hockey and all these other things before, and I feel like we didn't get all that Anel had to give to the story. So I would like to see Anel back, and I would like to see him in the context of other Logia users like the Admirals. And see,
I want him and
see what
Crocodile
that
to have a
looks
crew.
And Nell and
All right,
Crocodile.
together.
That's a weird
A
crew.
nail and crocodile. That'd be my
They're
best
gonna
crew.
butt heads because Nell don't
Yeah.
listen, bro. He don't
We
listen
we
to
Random
nobody.
kid,
we
bro.
off tangent, bro. I'm
Damn,
finna roll
damn.
back to the episode. For me, I am saying yay that I can't
Niggas just
I can't accurately judge an anime within the first 3 episodes. For the most part, I have been right. I have a high percentage of shots if I'm gonna like the anime or not. But I have been wrong about some anime, and normally it's when I transition to a new genre or a new vibe of anime. So
Oh, so you're not familiar with it.
I'll use Clannad as an example. I hated slice of life anime, and then I've been trying out a bunch. I've been trying out a bunch of them to this point, like watching 6 episodes, 7 episodes, 8 episodes, just quitting because I don't like them. So when Clannad came about, I didn't really care for it in the first 5 episodes. Like it was alright or whatever, but I wasn't really like sold on it. And it wasn't until like episode 6 or 7 where I was like, oh, this shit is actually kind of good. It's getting good. When it started tying points together. And so Clannad was the slice of life that convinced me to wait around for other slice of lives. It kind of changed the way on how I judge that genre in general early on. Like it started showing me how sometimes points can be tied together in slice of life later on in like the 5th or 7th, especially when it comes to like that haunted romance type vibe. So forbidden romance or whatever you want to call it. So it gave me new perspective, and from that point going on, now I can accurately judge a little better. But for the most part, I shoot a high percentage in those first 3 episodes when I say like this finna be one I like or this finna be one I don't like. So I'm going with yay.
I'm going with nay for the sake of argument here because I just disagree. To be honest, my main one would be JoJo. Like if I based off the first 3 episodes, I would not be a JoJo fan. You know, and JoJo has bad marketing. Quite in my opinion, right? Quite frankly, just the way marketing is bad. But it's a great fucking series. But then also there's been other like, is there an opposite way to do it, or is like I've watched stuff and I liked it off the first 3 episodes, but then I've fallen off as the seasons progressed. There's been a couple anime like that where I thought I liked it, and then it's like, yeah, this ain't it, and just based on that, it's like, nah, it's you really can't. I also think I'm a bad case because being that I am more on the casual side, I watch what I know it should be good. I know I'm gonna like it going in based on recommendations or I'm feeling. So like I'll just watch it past 3 episodes and not think about it, and I know I'll get good. But in my experiences when I haven't done that, I can't, based on 3 episodes. No, I cannot say. Can't.
I'm gonna go nay as well. Not for sake of argument, because I have a legit example for the reason why I say nay. There was an anime I decided to watch. It's called Record of Ragnarok. And I thought I would give this anime no chance. I was watching it and I was enjoying it. I watched first 2 episodes like, oh, and I remember I came in the group chat and said, oh, this is gonna be fire. Mind you, precursor, I did read the manga for this as well too. So I was excited for this anime to come out. I was excited. I was like looking forward to it. So I was already hyped up going into this, right? So now when the anime finally drops, I'm watching it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm digging the vibe. I'm enjoying it. Episode 2 coming out, okay, cool, getting better. Episode 3, all right, cool. And I'm hyped up. I'm thinking it's getting more and more excited. Like, but it was slowly progressing to a point like I was in my mind. I know it's coming, so I'm expecting it to be better and fire and getting better and better. But that's not what happened. I kept watching, and it just kept going downhill for me, and kept getting worse and worse. And I regret I regret going in group chat and saying that your shit was fire after the first couple episodes, because I regret it afterwards. Because after watching it continuously for the rest of the season, I just couldn't agree with that statement. It was good for what it was, but I definitely needed more in 3 episodes to even get a full opinion on what I really enjoyed about the anime. And I feel like as a whole, like you need to, if like going into any anime, if you want to get a full opinion about it, you gotta at least give like the entire season, at least you got good like 10, 15 episodes, just like they get at least one major point across the main arc across, so you can finally get a good scope of like what you enjoy about it, and like if it's gonna be a next season watch or it's gonna be a manga read, depending on how you're feeling.
You got producer credits on the worst recommendation of 2021 in the group chat, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Damn.
Record of
I don't know.
Ragnarok.
What was the recommendation?
Record of Ragnarok.
Record.
And
Wait, that was your Oh shit.
the anime because,
Bro,
but
that's what I was
he
saying.
didn't watch the anime first. He had been gassing the manga for all this time, and he
Yeah.
was just like, "The anime finna be good. The anime finna be good." And also,
Yeah, I couldn't get through it.
Cam from Inside the Mountain of Blur also recommended Record of Ragnarok to me, and she told me when the anime drops, it's gonna be good. And so it came out. Ron was still, pushing the agenda, and so I went and checked it out,
I was trying to be hyped.
and it was a fumble, bro. It was a fumble, and
Yeah.
that anime was horrible. But like I said, I like the concept of it. I definitely like the concept and the premise of it. Two, I wasn't as mad at the animation as everyone else. I like the storybook style animation. I just think there's a certain way to use it. I think they could have used that storybook style for like flashbacks, but the fights needed to be a lot more fluid than what they were. And then three, the pacing was god awful. That first fight took us 6 episodes?
Yeah.
Six
fucking
episodes.
I was like, why
And
is this taking
they
so long?
probably only did like 8 moves. It's probably only like 8 engagements across 6 episodes. That shit was slow and boring. And so I was just sitting there like, Ron, I can't believe that you was gassing this like this, man. So yeah, you definitely holding that L for
I
producer
learned my
credits of the worst recommendation of 2021.
I will stand on that hill, and I will die on that hill, because
Oh,
it happens.
you've died. You've died, sir.
Yeah, you dead, bro.
It's over.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Rome.
R.I.P. Rome. Cause that
R.I.P.
did not pan out for you, bro. I really was upset with you for that one.
But
you
I do
you
have
made
another
it.
recommendation though.
I don't know, bro. It's too soon. What's the other recommendation?
Even Jake Pierre took his
no,
shame, bro. He's like, it's gonna be cold, bro.
No. Before I was pushing this one like even after Chainsaw Man, definitely pushing that agenda. Definitely said
Oh, that's a
animation
safe
was
one.
fire.
That's a safe one.
No, what do you mean? I've been pushing this for before you guys even started
Nah,
reading Chainsaw Man.
him and Panda been talking about that shit for a while. I will say that.
No, I'm not
Wow.
saying. I'm not
Wow.
saying that. He hasn't been pushing the agenda. I'm just saying that's a safe one to push. Like
Oh,
compared
Wow.
compared to
Well, I've
Record
seen
of
it.
Ragnarok, Chainsaw Man is a safe agenda to push. Like you're not gonna have much pushback against that, whether it's good or not.
I'm trying to get my credits back up.
Since we are on the subject of this L, for the main conversation, what are 3 things that you guys look for in your stories to help you decide if you're gonna keep watching or reading? For me, first and foremost, the thing I probably look for the most is an interesting concept. Like if I don't find the overall story interesting to start, I don't have a high I don't give it a high probability that I'm going to want to finish it. Number 2 thing that I think about is if there's a system of introspection. So when I watch like anime or read manga or read books or anything, if there's not a character or some type of I don't know, segue where we can really get into like introspection and think about life and think about like where things are going, I'm not going to stay interested in that story because I like to have like time to sit down and chew on the meat of a story, if you will. And then number 3 most important thing to me probably is unique characters or just characters I'm interested in general, like the use of a character. Those are like the first 3 things I'm looking for in a series. Yeah, and the runner-up is probably the voice acting / like animation. If I'm doing anime, but I'm not gonna rank down the list because I'm talking like stories I read too.
Okay. I'm trying to think. I know for me, it's definitely the animation. That's a big one. If it just doesn't look the way I want it to look or whatever, it's kind of it's really a turn off. It makes it harder to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, it's just feeling. It's not like a tangible thing. It's just like, do I really want to keep watching this? So it's like, or if I catch up or I finish season 1, I know they're gonna write another season, but the manga's out. Do I want to read the manga? That's a big proponent. Like that's why I started reading manga was like because I want to know what happened before the anime did it. So I don't know if that how that kind of counts with it, but that's a big one for me. Like just wanna keep reading it. Like if I put it down and don't come back to it, I don't know. Maybe I just get bored with it. No, there's not like a real tangible reason. I guess just like that's just kind of how it goes. Really just a feeling.
What about you, Jeremiah? Wrong.
So for me, I'm gonna go with, of course, first and foremost is story. Um, I read a lot of light novels, So if to your point earlier, if the anime or the story can make me want to go read the light novel, go dive in and get ahead of the anime, then that means it's already a winner for, in most cases. Um,
Exactly.
I'm speaking on just anime and manga. I'm really big into the art style. That's what's really going to hold me. Um, I say that if I say that because I love Seven Deadly Sins to the point where I went and read the manga the whole nine after watching the anime, the whole deal. But if the first season had looked like the current seasons look, there's no way I would have gotten into the Seven Deadly Sins anime. I probably wouldn't even made it through the first three episodes. It would just be like I'm good.
The manga caught
Um,
me for Seven Deadly Sins.
the manga's great. I mean, the
The
ending was
manga.
kind of in case I'm problematic. The ending was a little problematic for me, but overall the manga was solid.
The
Uh, and then I guess last but not least, we got story, we got animation, art quality. Um, I'm probably going to go with voice acting as well, just on the anime side.
Really?
I'm really big. Yeah, I'm
Wow.
really big into voice actors. On the Crunchyroll Awards, I'm looking at the voice acting category because I'm hoping that dude who does Subaru's voice or Kirito's voice
Hmm.
wins like every year. So I'm like always cheering for those guys. I'm like, yeah, on the sub side anyway. So yeah, those are the three things that get me.
I don't really look at voice acting super duper heavy, um, unless
That
it's
surprised
bad.
me.
Like when it's well, I look at it, but like when it's bad is when I really care. Like as long as it's adequate and I'm like cool, I can feel the emotions and it is cool. Like I really don't get that heavy into it. But when it's bad, I'm like, bro, this shit's horrible. Like who approved these voice actors and like it's no emotion, it's no feeling. Like
What was a
it
bad voice actor that turned you off?
right now I'm watching He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the Revelation, like this part two that just dropped. And in that first episode, I'm not liking their
Oh,
voice acting at all. Like they don't sound like they in the moment.
Damn.
Not only is the animation worse in the second part, where it's kind of like choppy and it's more it's a lot more cutscenes and a lot less like fluid animation. And the voice acting doesn't help. Like it's some voice acting where like I think he's supposed to sound like he's hurt or he's crying, but it sounds like they got me up there talking about some type crying
Oh
like
damn.
that's what he on, bro. So when he like I was in the kitchen cooking. When he did that, I had to take my food off the stove and turn around like, what the fuck was that, bro? Was that a cry?
caught you off guard,
Like, yeah, bro, it's stuff like that. So like, I really, I really am not. I'm not a snob about it. I guess that's what I'll say. I'm not a snob about it. Where I know all the voice actors and I can tell you like what they doing and what goes into it. I do care, especially if I know a voice actor is on a series. I want to hear voice actors I know like like Zeno, Childish Game Zeno on Twitter. But Zeno,
Hmm.
uh, we had D on an episode and she's a voice actor. So like if I know a voice actor and I know they're gonna be in a series, Gabe Kunda or anybody, I'm gonna pull up. I want to hear what they do. I want to hear their work. I will critique in that sense, but I'm not a snob about it. G, I'm not on every project going like, let me listen to the voice acting and see if he nailed every note and if the transitions are beautiful. It's not that big a deal to me. But when that shit's bad, I 100% notice. I
Oh, I actually
100%
got one.
notice.
My bad. But
Who
I
you
actually
got?
got one more. Music. That's what I want to say.
Mm.
Music. That's like it's a subtle thing, but like the music's really good. It's an easy way to keep me like engaged and want to keep watching it.
So scoring and not just intro outros.
Yeah.
Okay. Master D.
Um, yes, it is my time. Give me enough time to think about what I really want to say because I've been trying to figure out like what it really is like grasping into the story, and I definitely have to agree with GB first of all. First of all, I definitely think like the actual story itself has to be compelling and entertaining for me to even want to continue reading or watching the series. If it starts off like with a boring premise, like, and then I'm not gonna continue. But if it has something that's actually interesting, like a Yashima that I just started recently reading. It's already came up with an interesting story, compelling about like a monster yakuza that I have to fight through tournament style just to get to the top. And it seems simple enough, but the characters as a whole they kind of make the story interesting. So, of course, they have a nice rounded cast of like funny and like quirky and like serious characters base. So that makes me very interested and want to continue reading. So it definitely has to be a combination of like storytelling and characters themselves. Because if I have a weak, boring character, like Platinum Men, the main character for Platinum Men, right currently he's kind of not doing it for me. He's kind of like he's whack. I'm be
Yeah.
honest, like he's not doing it for me, and it's bringing me down when you want to continue watching the series because I just don't want to continue watching him be of a bitch made for lack of a better word, but like just a character that doesn't want to seem to have a driver force, want to do anything better for himself. Like, and I don't know if I assume he's gonna have like a glow up arc eventually coming, but like it's like what like 7 episodes in now, or is it like 5 episodes? But we're still at him still trying to like figure out like what he wants to do and if he wants to do it. Period. And he seems pretty indecisive about that, so it's making me kind of lacking interest. Um, so definitely story, character, and I guess for animation as a whole, have to be probably between the animation itself and the actual music itself, the score, as you were saying, Warren. Because I do like a nice score. Like just after finishing watching Season 7, the score on that is so phenomenal that I just keep thinking now I gotta go back and watch all the anime I've been watching and actually listen to these scores because some of the scores have really been like hitting. I never noticed it before because you're so focused on trying to understand the story, trying to grasp the visual that you're not paying attention to the actual sounds that are coming around you, the sounds of the environment, the sounds of like just the characters itself. Like I think Job Between Carnations and other anime does that really well. Like they have like this I don't even know what you want to call it, but it's not like it's a score, but also encapsulate the intro and outro as you watch an anime. So it's like they bring you in on like a nice little chantful, serene like type of music, and it's also used as like the intro and outro for each episode. And I like that they do it, so it's like it continues out throughout the season. But I don't feel like it's actual score because, as I said, it's not continuous throughout the episode, just in the beginning and end.
Hmm.
But I do like so I'm getting sidetracked. But yeah, so story, characters, and music. My
I
apologies, I
definitely,
got
I definitely
long-winded
hear what
there.
you're saying about Mirai, from Platinum In. I'm okay with him being apathetic though. I'm not really mad at his apathetic and lack of intensity. I just don't,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand like the depths of it. Like I get it. Like you just
Yeah.
came from hard times and everything that happens, but I'm not understanding the depths of his apathy right now. Like the situations that he's in, it just doesn't match up for me. It doesn't click, and so maybe that gets explained in
Yeah.
later
Like
episodes,
he's
and we'll
not
figure
grabbing
it
the
out.
gravitas.
Yeah, bro. Like it's
Yeah.
all here for you, and you're not moving. And like I said, I feel like my main problem with him currently is that it feels like the story is moving, but we aren't. It feels like Mirai and Saki are not moving at all, and that's been my problem, and why I want to see other
Mm-hmm.
perspectives, because like it feels like nothing's really happening, and I don't like that feeling. But also
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
watched
It's a
86
very slow
before
progression for
watching.
the characters.
Yeah, and I watched 86 before
Sorry.
watching Platinum Man, and 86 is a far better story. So
Mm.
uh, that probably did it for me.
Yeah. I need to get into that. I probably watched like the first 5 minutes of an episode,
Uh
and
huh.
that's all I've seen of 86. But I'm
Uh,
go back to it. I'm
if I were
trying.
you, I would say wait. They got me and they had me binge it. I'm thinking I'm watching the entire first season, and I was not. I was only watching the first
Mm.
17 episodes, which was some bullshit. Or however many
Oh, so it's
episodes
still
is
going.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still going, and I caught up, and now I'm week to week. But they've had production delays, so I'm not even week to week. I'm just week to waiting whenever the fuck
Mm.
they put an episode out, and I'm thirsty.
Down bad.
Thirsty.
Down bad, bro. And
But
now
I'm
they
awake. I do like to binge.
Yeah, now they all laughing at me too because they just like, welcome to the club. We here. So like they knew what it was, bro. That's the thing that bothered me. Like everybody was sending me the little demon devil faces and everything. Like, no, bro. Y'all knew what y'all was doing. Y'all knew I was hooked. Y'all knew I was catching up, and now I'm here and I can't even binge no more, man. Like
Can't do nothing about it.
that's killing me. Cause like 86 is just it's hitting on all the notes that I like in the story. Like the perspective, it's got the deep thinking character. It's got war and trauma and the sad stories is like we talked about early, but they've also got like hope. They've got happy moments. It's got comedy. Like I'm just enjoying every part of it. And now that I'm getting deeper into mecha, I find myself like kind of liking that whole political aspect of the mecha genre. And so I'm having an appreciation for those parts of the story too, just kind of like that political drama that comes from it, that strategy. So 86 is definitely hitting on all that. What are y'all favorite types of stories right now, and why? Like if you're deciding to pick something up and you wanna and you know it's going like what are the stories that you know will hold your attention off back? Like is it battle shonen? Is it seinen? Is it cooking shows?
For
Off rip
me,
right now, definitely gonna have to be a comedy. Go ahead. You
oh
can
no,
you
no,
can
go
finish.
ahead. You're already there.
Yeah, bro, you already spitting.
Um, for me, already, it's gonna have to be a comedy shonen or like a comedy seinen. Anything that involves comedy as a whole, I love because I like a good humor to balance out the darker tones or like the more serious tone of anime. Because if the comedy is good, you got me off it because I'm be laughing, I'm be enjoying all the things that you're gonna throw at me, like you're gonna throw at me some serious tone. All right, cool, I like that, but then you're gonna give me something funny at the end of it to make me won't be like, okay, this is enjoyable watching. I like it when they do like a bouncing, good balance of comedy involved, and like that's why I love Scissor Seven so much because Scissor Seven is a good balance of like comedy, action. Man, I'm gonna stop talking about Scissor Seven, but yeah, comedy is definitely gonna be what can grab me in.
How about you, Jeremiah? You was talking.
I mean, I'm big into adventure type stories. So, Mushoku Tensei, that's like one of my big ones right now. Started watching anime. Now I'm reading the light novels, so
Yeah.
that definitely has me hooked. If it's not a story like that, I'm big into like romantic comedy. So I'm doing Toradoras. I'm doing, guess Your Lie in April kind of falls into the comedy aspect a little bit. Those type of stories really get me too. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Cause
uh, Big world building. So I guess I'm more on the adventure side as well. I like the aspect where it's not like just contained. Like for example, this is like My Hero is mostly contained to Japan, which is cool. I still really enjoy the story, but like now that they kind of touched on the other countries, I'm like, all right, that like actually draws me in even more because like there's more than just the island. Whereas like One Piece, you have all the islands across the world. That's cool to me, especially when it's done really well. I like that. I like that adventure kind of episodic saga that you go on instead of staying in one place.
do you guys feel like the anime and manga, the stories that you consumed early on, influence what like you look for right now? Like, Kuzo, you've been into One Piece for years. Do you feel like One Piece is all influenced, like since you like adventure stories and large world building, has that become your standard, your bar of expectation when you look at other stories?
Yeah, I would say so because I remember like watching like Naruto, Zatch Bell, where it's kind of like they're going on a quest to kind of be something, or even Pokemon, for example. Ash is trying to be the master trainer, so he starts in Pallet he goes to Elite Four, and every new region he starts to begin and goes to the end, like just like they're always going forward, and it's not too much uh, like a stagnant staying in one spot. And it wasn't until like more recently where like shows like Haikyuu, where most of that shows inside of a gym. It's very pretty self-contained where all the action's in a gym. So I would definitely say like the stuff I had in the beginning of my life that's definitely more like has a big influence on like what I would naturally grasp towards right now.
So how are you? How do you pare those expectations down. Because if you walk in with One Piece on your mind, the bar that One Piece sets for world building and adventure is off the screen. So like, how do you look at a Haiku or a My Hero Academia and still appreciate those stories for what they are if like adventure is the thing you're looking for, and or if that world building is what you're looking for and they don't reach that level?
I guess you just learn to appreciate the other parts. Like Haikyuu has great music. Like that's probably the best soundtrack, like score behind the anime in any of them probably, like with the slap bass and all that stuff.
Cat.
Um, whatever. But then like I think you just learn to appreciate the other stuff. But also, it's like I don't want to say cater your expectations, but like you know what you also know what you're going into. Like a sports anime is not gonna be this grand episode thing. They're trying to win the game. So the shots are gonna be in similar like locations. There's not too much world they can build out, but even with the world building that they do is they can develop the great characters. You understand why this character likes to play this way, why they like to think that way, and so they go into more of that character development than like the grand world development that you get. So it just learning to appreciate the other nuances. That just comes with experience from watching and reading more stories, and you get exposed to more things. Because everything can't be One Piece. I don't always want a grand adventure. That's what One Piece is for me right now. So,
I think it's cool that you, when you brought up Haiku, you talked about the score, which was one of the three things that you said locks you into, like, captures your attention in the first place. So, like, if you don't have the adventure, then you kind of default to those other things, those other three. So, for everybody up here, the whole three don't have to be present for anybody in particular. I think when I asked that question earlier, I kind of asked in the narrow-mindedness of all three of these things need to exist for you to be locked in attention-wise to anime, but it seems like now that's not really the case. Like, as long as it's one of those three or two of those three, then you good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
especially if it's done, like, very well.
Yeah, I don't need the whole entire to be the perfect anime, because there's no such thing as the perfect anime, One Piece. But at least it needs to at least give me at least some of the elements that I'm looking for to keep me engaged in the story, keep me engaged and want to continue. Like, if it has a good soundtrack, I'm gonna continue because I like listening to something good. If it has a good art style, I'm keep watching because I like to watch something nice and appealing. If the story's compelling, I'm gonna continue. I might go read it. But it doesn't have to give me all three of those things for it to be a continuous watch for me and make it want to be great. It just has to give me at least one or two of the things that I want. Keep me engaged.
Yeah, I'm big on the good. Just has to outweigh the bad for the most part, and usually hopefully heavily outweigh the bad. But yeah.
All right. So speaking of the bad, what's your number one turnoff when it comes to a series? Like the number one thing is like, I have a mind to drop this shit right now. Like I'm not even feeling this no more, bro.
Power friendship.
Power of friendship.
Yeah.
I love Fairy Tail, so we finna have that's a very
Sorry,
triggering.
man. I gotta go, bro.
Triggering
I'm sorry, bro. Like I can't. I watch. At least when I watch Fairy Tail.
Yeah, I'm not gonna battle it out. I get it. I know Fairy Tail drawbacks. I know, but but I'm still watching Fairy Tail.
I mean, you
I'm
talking to a DBZ stand.
Still. That's what Spirit Bomb is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Rome Love's Tournament of Power is one of his top arcs. So
Tournament of Power was heat, bro. I don't care what nobody say.
Well, I'm not saying it's not heat, but like
watching it.
But Rome could appreciate the power of friendship coming from the DBZ like realm and as much standing as he does over there, G. Cause y'all know.
I would say if the story like gets stagnant though, like a perfect example for me is with as a Rooster Teeth anime called Ruby. And the beginning is like the animation's kind of rough, but then it gets better, and the story was going to a really great place. And now I think partially because one of the guys who was like creating the story, he did pass away unfortunately. So I think like some of his vision is missing from the show now. But now it's like I feel like I'm just watching it because I've already committed to finishing it, and it's not so much. I don't have the same enjoyment I have where I was like 3 or 4 seasons ago. Now it's like I feel like I'm just watching it. Only because I committed to it, it's like I'm just stubbornly I'm gonna see this through for better or for worse. So I can say I finished it. But
Yeah,
the story feels like it's stagnant. They don't really know what they want to do sometimes. It's like,
I think for me, maybe not somewhere between stagnant and redundant. Uh, just I don't even know if redundant is the right word. It's uninspired is my biggest turnoff. Right now, and Mike, I'm sorry, G. This is not a shot towards Bleach. It's just that I've been reading other seinen, and Bleach is just not doing it for
bang
me.
bang.
It's a very shonen, and I just happen to have just like been finishing up Waco Mundo, which to me is just like a sloppy copy of the Soul Society arc, but there are characters in Waco Mundo that are better than Soul Society, and I feel like Kubo has just been like hidden. He's aware of the copy redundant feel because now he has those character matches from Soul Society that are meeting up with their doppelgangers or counterpart characters in Waco Mundo, and they're squaring off. And I'm just like, bro, like you got to be aware that this just feels exactly the same. Like you had a hit arc, and now you've given us another arc that feels exactly like that. Like in every way, the characters feel the same, the conflict feels the same. Like nothing really feels different. Uh, but all that to say, I still enjoy Bleach. So I'm keeping to read it, but that has started to become a big turnoff, and it's pushing me to not want to read it. So like I read through the first 350 chapters fairly quickly, and now since then, that was months ago. That was like August or July when I hit 350. Since that point, I've probably read like maybe 20 chapters. I haven't wanted to read it, so I'm really struggling with reading Bleach, and just that feeling of redundancy, that feeling of like this the same thing I already read. It's just making me like I don't want to finish it, but I gotta finish it. I will finish it. I don't hate it, Mike, because I know you finna listen to this episode and be ready to box. But yeah, bro, Bleach is not doing it for me. Repetitive. You are spot on. Poodle's actually listening to this episode because she one of our special people, but she not talking. But repetitive
Shout out
is
to
the
Poodle.
word. It feels super fucking repetitive. Shout out to Poodle.
Shout out to the Poodle Gang. Pow, 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 pow.
And then that brings me to pretty much just the last part of the main conversation is give me one series that you guys want to recommend that like has your attention and you think it doesn't get enough attention, so you want to like kind of hype it up.
Does that have to be anime or could it be manga? Oh,
It can be
manga.
whatever. It can be anime, manga. It can be a comic. I really don't care. I just want recommendations out there.
Scissor
I,
7.
Okay.
That's the only one. Scissor 7.
What you was gonna say, Jay?
I was like, I thought I was pushing the agenda for ranking of kings. Like you're really on that Scissor Seven
Oh,
uh,
yeah, man.
push.
So you
Yeah,
need to watch it.
Scissor Seven
yeah.
is
That
fire, bro.
my boy Jared has been pushing Scissor Seven on me for a minute
Mhm.
as well. But no, I'm not even going to go ranking the kings. You know, I low key just cheated there. Uh, my recommendation is going to be a webtoon. It's Weak Hero. Uh,
Mm.
it's probably like it's probably my favorite webtoon that I look forward to each week. I was a big Tower of God fan, you know, really big into all of the super popular webtoons, but this one I think is underrated. And actually, I tell my boy this: if it was any webtoon to get an anime, I would want this one to get an anime out of anything that I read. Yeah. So,
Okay.
Weak Hero, go for it. That's the move.
But
Uh, I don't really have anything that like needs promotion based upon like what I really watch. It's all pretty mainstream. Nothing's out there. I guess I could say Ace of Diamond because I don't think that's too popular, but like that was fucking amazing. God, everybody should watch that, hands down.
Not enough people have seen Ace of Diamond. A lot of people have seen Haiku, and they tout Haiku as the best sports anime. And I'm not mad at that take if that's your take.
Me
But a lot
either.
of people that tout Haiku as the best sports anime have not seen other sports anime. and that's when I get angry to take.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't watched it, so how are you saying it's the best? Because in my opinion, Ace No Diamond is better.
Way better.
Way
It's
better.
like, yeah, it's just more
Um,
compelling.
there's one more thing I want y'all to watch. I
You
want
already
everyone
said
to watch the
Sister
live
Seven,
action
bro.
Cowboy. Yeah, I know, but
Go ahead, man. Break the rules, Ron. Want us to watch the
Why
live
you
action
cheating, Ron?
Cowboy Bebop, man. Go ahead, talk about
just
it.
watch the live action Cowboy. I'm not gonna talk. I'm just gonna say watch it, because I don't know if who's watched it, who hasn't watched it, but just watch it. It's very enjoyable. That's it.
I've been watching Cowboy Bebop get slandered, the live action, but the past two
Crazy.
days, the past 2 days, I've seen a rising wave of people that say they really fuck with the live action. I think I saw you talking about it with Rob and maybe Jay,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Uh,
maybe
yeah,
Johnny.
Rob J. I think it was. I want to with Johnny.
I want to say it was Johnny. I saw
Oh
you on the
yeah.
timeline, and then I've seen some other people. I think I saw Moody say something
I
about
just saw Erie
Cowboy
say she
Bebop being
enjoyed it.
good. So I'm gonna check it out, bro. But um, like same way I feel about One Piece episode 1000. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it. Y'all know that I love Cowboy Bebop. I take that series seriously too.
Oh
Shout out
yeah.
to Call Me Leak, One Piece Leak. He just finished the uh, the animation, and so we were texting about it all day, and so I'm glad that he finished the animation. I take Cowboy Bebop seriously, so I want to sit down and put my time and effort into that series when I watch it.
Oh yeah.
And I was a
Please text me,
little
bro, because I love Cowboy Bebop, and I would love to hear your thoughts and takes.
I
Because
was a little
I
discouraged at
went
first because everybody was saying it
I went
missed.
into this after. Yeah, I went into this after watching the animation too. I rewatched it and I was like, all right, let me see what it's about. And I went in there not expecting it to be great at all. I went in there just like, okay, I'm see what they can do. I'm see what they're gonna adapt. See what parts they're gonna actually take from the actual animation. And they took some good parts and they did it very well. I
Yeah,
didn't think it was done terribly. I didn't think it was actually like too like live action. It was like a nice combination of like actual authentic Cowboy Bebop esque while still giving you live action adaptation that's not so overly convoluted. Because I knew there were some parts you had to embellish on the characters a bit. Because it's got this long episode, not 20 minutes, actually 45, 50 minutes. So that give you more story. So I'm not mad at it. I just feel like certain areas they could have not embellished, but still, I leave it to you. Watch it. Let me know your thoughts.
my one recommendation that I feel like is not getting the love that it's supposed to get. I talked about on the timeline this week, so I'm just gonna go ahead and bring that back up. Fire Force. I mentioned it earlier this episode. Fire Force has had a really strong 2021 run. These past 6 months have been absolutely amazing. And I believe that the only reason that it doesn't get the love that it deserves is because it's not on the ever popular Viz app, and you have to go to those shady, kind of sketchy links sometimes if you want to check it out. But if you are an adventurous person and you don't mind going off into the darker parts of town, please go check out Fire Force. It's absolutely gas. The story has been consistently good. It hasn't been like there's been one great arc and been a lesser arc. Sensei got me his rapid fire questions where I said that I enjoyed Fire Force better than Chainsaw Man and JJK. And I recently dropped it on the timeline. I had to talk to people about it on the timeline too. Uh, there were some supporters on the timeline actually that liked Fire Force over JJK. I will say that I don't want to get too deep in the conversation of better between JJK and Fire Force because Fire Force is like 260 chapters in and JJK is like what 120, 140, something like that, somewhere in that range. So it's a 100 chapter difference, and if both of them stop today, then Fire Force is definitely better. But we've yet to see what comes from JJK. We've yet to see if it maintains the same level of quality and glory that they had in Shibuya, or if it falls off completely. So I don't want to go too deep into better, but as it stands now, I think the Fire Force is better, and I definitely enjoy it better. That's the agenda I'm pushing for Fire Force. And that's about it for me. I'm ready to wrap the episode up. Wondering if you guys got any last comments, anything you want to say, anything you want to add to the episode, points of reference.
No, I'm cool.
I had something, but I lost it, and I'm trying to get it back, but it's not there.
Left you, huh?
It left me bad.
Jeremiah?
I don't know how I got distracted.
No, I think I will say. Oh, this was on my mind. I didn't throw out my one thing that turns me off on an anime.
Oh yeah, my fault.
Yeah. It's pacing. So whether it's like rushing to a end or feeling like it's just dragging, or whether it's dragging things out, So either way it go, my example will be Dr. Stone. I was really heavy into that manga, and then it just continues to just feels like for like several chapters that nothing's happening. So I feel myself just falling off and having to come back to it months later and like binge like 10, 20 chapters at a time. But yeah, I'm big on pacing.
Okay. I think that Sensei Glove might. I'm not sure because I'm not reading the manga yet. He might battle you on the Doctor Stone takes because I know that he's really into Doctor Stone. He might not care for that take, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see when I get to that point how I feel about the pacing. I do see a lot of people. It's a common take on the timeline that Doctor Stone is a monster of the week, or in Doctor Stone's case, like an invention of the week formula, and that pacing is getting weak and old in the manga. But I'm not actually reading, so I can't comment either which way on it. But I'll definitely keep that in mind as I catch up. I want to wrap this episode up. Jeremiah, I want to say thanks for pulling up with us, bro. We're always happy to have guests on the show. I'm happy that you got to come on our show after I got to spend time on the 3-episode rule. It really made my day because like you were like divine timing when you invited me to come on your pod, bro. At the time, I was telling Glove like, "Yo, I want to do more pods, bro. I kind of want to make a tour." And then at that very same time was when you were getting in contact with me, like literally the same week. You contacted me like, "Hey, you want to get on my pod?" I'm like, divine timing, bro. I literally just said like I want to do other pods, and so got to do your pod. Had an awesome time. Loved Megalobox. Had a great time talking with you, and the other brother, his name started with an L, but the pronunciation is slipping me. Lonzio.
Yeah.
Had a great time talking with y'all and discussing Megalobox, and one day hopefully I can hear from him again and see if his anime journey continued or if he called it quits right there and never picked up another one.
I'll definitely tap in with him. He's currently borrowing Funimation password, so he ran back through all the Dragon Balls. He finished Megalobox. I think he finished Megalobox the second season. I haven't even watched that yet, so tap in with him for sure. Yeah.
All right, most definitely. It's always cool when you meet new anime fans, and if you ever free, tell them to pull up to Anime After Dark on Clubhouse, bro. That's a community that's been budding, it's been growing, and lots of people are meeting new friends on there every week. So good times. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up. Supernovas, thank you guys for listening to the episode. As always, if you like this episode and you're listening to the audio podcast, please follow the podcast and like and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you happen to be watching one of our videos or watching the video on Patreon, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you're thinking. Always tell us what you're thinking. Join the journey. Join the conversation. Let us know if you fuck with our opinions. If we be on here capping. If you think we the GOAT. We want to hear all that, the good and the bad. You can join the conversation with us on Twitter at WorstGenPod. This has been Season 3, Episode 14. We talked about what draws us into Animanga series, what are the things we look for to get us hooked, what's important to us, and all around just the type of series and stories that, drive us and keep us ticking in this community. I want to hear from you guys and know like what's important to you, what series are you looking for, what are you looking for in your series and your content that you consume. So hit me up, rap with me. That's everything for this episode of the Worst Generation podcast. And until next time, we out.
Super.
I mean, my Dutch. I'm gonna push you just so I can push you off the cliff. Now you're falling like damn, bro. What you tryna come for me? You can't touch my style. I'm so ready for the child. I'm about to go off. I'm like a menace in the dome. I'm about to go mean. I'm about to go thugging on this tone man scene. Cause I'm rocking in the streets with my black foot streets. I got my Tim's on, about to stomp these hoes off. They can't stop my shine cause I'm so
I'm
damn
mad you
bright.
stopped recording, cuz
Call me supernova cause I'm that nigga in the fucking light. Call me wrong, but I'm just trying to troll. Niggas on my back cause I'm just trying to roll. Roll off in the streets, let you know I got the feet to run it all night. I'm the man, now you see. Ooh, that's who I be. Ooh, don't you
Go ahead,
see?
bro.